Morning gardening friends, we're here in Ungary at a workshop. This is my dad Lindsay Henley, and he's going to be talking through our wicking beds. So here we are at number 1 workshop, and Dad's going to talk through our wicking beds.
Hi there everybody, just to explain the process of how actually a wicking bed works, I think is the first place where we start. Is a wicking bed is a self-watering bed. And to explain it, probably the simplest way, is this is a completed water bed that we made, probably wicking bed we made maybe 6 or 8 months ago. And what the process of wicking is that the water rises from the base all the way through a stone layer, then through our dirt layer, and then up through to our topsoil. Now, just to show you, this was watered last time I got watered was maybe 3 weeks ago, and as you can see that's still very moist on top. And just give you an idea, the water level in this one is roughly to there, so that was topped up to the top of that pipe maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, so it's used that much water in the last 3 weeks. So as you can see, they don't use a lot of water, and if they're out, this one's not, it's underneath the shed here, of course, not ideal conditions, but this one has been going now for about 6 months. We've done tomatoes in it. This one at the moment, it's got spinach in it, or whatever these things here are called as well. You gardeners will know better than me.
I think it's basil.
Basil.
Silver bean.
All this stuff my wife eats, everybody else but me.
So when you said you topped it up 3 weeks ago, you watered it, so...
Yes, watered.
Down the pipe.
Okay, we'll probably go through the wicking process now, how our garden bed is set up, so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so what we do right from the start, we put, this is our fill pipe. It goes in first, so you can put it anywhere you want, it doesn't matter where it goes. So that's our fill pipe, right? So what we do then, once we do that, and you can put it anywhere you want, you put a layer of our blue metal. You can use, that's the stuff that we've been using. It's 5 to 7 mil
7 to
blue,
10.
7 to 10 mil blue metal. So you put that layer in, so you fill it up with that layer to this point here. So this is also our overflow pipe, you might say. So we never ever want the water to be higher than that level there, right? Now, that there is about 45% airspace. So what happens then, that also now becomes 45% water space. So we fill it up to that point. And I'll go back to this one to show you a bit easier. So this one is filled to that point with blue metal. And then we put our dirt now.
Fabric.
Oh, sorry, yeah, this is what they call geotech fabric. It goes under road base. It's supposed to last forever, apparently. And so you'll put that over top of your stone layer, right? So the stone layer, you want to put that in. You need to put it in the middle, whatever. You just cut a little slot and put that over it like that, and that'll sit there quite nicely. And then, so that's that layer. That's the layer that stops the soil going down into your stone layer. So what we're doing, we're making a separation between the stone and the soil. We don't want our roots going down into the moisture layer. The water layer. We want them in only moisture only. So that's the separation layer. Then the soil, there's been a lot of discussion, what is the best soil? This was just a straight loam and manure mix that I got from our local landscaper in West Wyalong, and it seems to work perfectly because it's a light. As you can see, it's very, very light. It's sort of verging on a little bit sandy, but that works perfectly. That wicks perfectly. You do want a little bit of organic material in there, so that's why the manure's in there mixed up with it. But you don't want to have a clay soil. What happens with a clay soil? They don't wick properly, so it won't rise to the surface properly. So you want it's all about capillary action. Wicking is basically capillary action. So we need a coarse contact between our. It's a bit like how these work. It's coarse contact, and the moisture wicks up right through the top, and then what we do on that, after we put our layer of soil in, we put that to about that level there, and just as important as anything else, you've got to put a mulch layer on top, because the problem with wicking, it works too well. If you don't put your moisture layer on top, mulch layer on top, it actually continues to wick. It'll just continue to wick, and it actually dries out. So what this is doing, this mulch layer is actually holding the moisture down. So, and that's basically the process of a wicking bed. Now, how we make our wicking beds, I suppose you're wondering. We use, this is called cromolyn exterior grade waterproofing agent, and what it is, it comes out when it's dry, it comes out as a rubberized product, and it is food grade, water grade. So obviously you can grow your veggies in it. So
you put down your geo fabric, the base.
Yes, we use on the base of our wicking beds you can't, so I'll turn him up so you can actually see it. You start with a layer of geotech fabric, which is that's just the same version of that. And then we spray layers and layers of cromolyn in there to create a seal. We actually use a layer of, fill all our corners in with Elastic, so they're waterproofing. And then we also put an extra layer, you can probably pick it up, there's an extra layer of fabric moulded into the corners. This is all to give it tensile strength. So that is our, and there's about 4 to 5 layers on the base, 3 layers on the wall, and in our corners we've got about 6 layers all up. So to give it, the idea is to give it, obviously the waterproofing also gives the whole thing tensile strength. If you imagine it comes out a bit like a pool liner. I suppose you could do your way, so it's nice and flexible. So it's actually, if you haven't got perfectly level ground, at least it's a little bit contour following. So, but the ideal soil, if you had to put your wicking bed on, is probably a layer of sand would be best, or at least something that's not, this stuff is obviously not ideal, we're just doing this for demo purposes.
Why is it not ideal?
Oh, because you don't want sharp stones trying to stick back up through your base.
So then when you're filling up your reservoir?
Yeah, so what we do now, our water, so this is our fill pipe, of course. Now, when you're filling our reservoir, we just fill it, that just filters straight out through your stone layer, that's in there like that. That will basically filter out through that stone nearly as quick as a garden tap can put it in. So,
and just fill it up with a hose?
You just fill it with a hose.
And then you just check in summer, check weekly, 2 weeks?
Check it, just keep an eye on it, you get to know it. There's 2 ways, you can actually watch your fill pipe, and you can see, your overflow pipe, and you can actually see the water level in your overflow pipe. Or what I normally do is just like I did a second ago, if you just got a bit of dowel or something like that, you just shove it down your fill pipe and it actually basically tells you your water level. So that won't require filling for a while yet. Obviously, the beauty of a wicking bed, if they're out in the open, if you're say a 20-inch rainfall, you'll actually get 20 inches, which is probably about that much, of free water, because anything that falls into your garden bed obviously stays within your garden bed. And if you're anything more than that, comes out your overflow pipe. So, so that's basically how the wicking bed works. We've now got the capability. This is the 2 metre bed that we make. We make circles. We make all sorts of wicking beds now. We can deliver. We deliver them all over the state, the ACT. So.
Because initially we were only going to deliver circles, but now we deliver the ovals, and these 2 metres we can deliver as well.
Yes, we deliver them everywhere now.
And this one's our most popular, the 2 metre by 80, 68 centimetres high. We're currently trialling a half height range as well. So Dad's trialling that at the moment, which means you'll probably have to top it up a little bit more frequent because it holds less water, but that would be the only difference.
Yeah, half a height. So it comes with a little cap that goes, these are to stop the bugs to come in. Little cap there just to stop the bugs in.
Or if you've got young kids, toys.
Yeah. All right.
So it comes with everything. So it comes with the built-in reservoir. It comes with the kit. So all you need to buy is blue metal or scoria. Scoria, and from my understanding and research, people just have a preference. And the big gardeners, some prefer scoria and some prefer blue metal, but both wick. So it's what you can get your hands on. So all you need to do is get your rock, your soil and your mulch, and we provide everything else, the piping, the geofabric, and then it gets delivered just like this, installed. If anyone's got any questions about wicking beds, just pop them in and I'll get Dad to answer why we're here. But during winter, I know my one in Forbes, I don't need to top it up at all because it catches all the rain. In summer, you just check one or every second week. For example, I'm away for the last 10 days and I told my neighbour, my beautiful old neighbour, Kevin, I said, can you water all my standard garden beds because obviously they have no bottom? I said, but you don't need to touch the wicking bed. So that's what gives it that freedom. If you go on holidays or you're working and you can't water every day. And this is a water efficient. I think they say up to like 75% less water usage because it just holds it rather than just running straight out to the soil underneath. So yeah, we do obviously still do our standards and our wicking beds, but the wicking beds are becoming more popular.
Yes.
Especially for schools or shift workers or people that holiday, and especially farms as well, that just can't have that access to consistent water. Any questions come through? Hopefully that answers for you, but I thought best to get Dad to explain it. We've got a circle range, oval range, and you can look at all that on our website, and then you just let me know what you want to order. But otherwise, Dad, like sometimes people can't get this loam mix, so it's just using a high quality soil that's got organic matter in it, like your manures and things, so it can wick through. So
yeah, it's best not to use a soil like a clay style soil. You want a loam style soil with your additives added into it. That way it wicks a lot better. We found that, and we've had issues in the past with when people just put in clay in them. The clay just does not wick. Yeah,
and for anyone that's joined in, so basically this is soil from here to here, and it remains damp at all times. So when you water with a hose, you water it, it dries out. You water it, it dries out. Where a wicking bed, it stays damp all the time. So your veggies obviously aren't going in and out of shock. So it's consistent for these happy little veggies. And like Dad showed you at the start, the water wicks its way up, so that's damp there. That just because there's water at the bottom of the reservoir, and it just wicks its way to the top of the surface. So what they say is if you are doing seeds, because a lot of people, they'll buy up to 6 wicking beds at a time and they're growing from seed. So you do want to water for a first couple of weeks top water because obviously those seeds need to germinate right on the top of the surface, but then the wicking bed can kind of take over. So if you've got young seedlings, they do say to water a little bit, but then you don't want to keep doing that because you want it to rely on the root system going down into that growing period. So yeah, always reach out with any questions. We've got little guides so if you do order a wicking bed, it comes with a setup guide. So Dad's worked out the volume of what rock you need in the soil. So depending what size you are, it's got the information of what the volumes that you need to get, and it's got a little setup guide with what you need to do. No questions have come through, which means hopefully, Dad, you've done a good job.
Thank you.
So wicking beds, that Dad says it's the way of the future. It is a game changer. But yeah, if you're getting a standard garden bed like all these ones over here, people still order standard ones. So you'll set up an irrigation system or you'll water with a hose, where this one, it waters itself. So you just let it be. Well, thanks for joining in. Thanks, Dad, because we know you love the camera.
Yeah, love it.
Thanks everyone for joining in live. Any questions about wicking beds, always shout out. I'm here to help. Barb's just jumped on and said my next investment. Barb's got about 12 of our garden beds with irrigation set up. So yes, Barb, that's awesome. Okay, thanks everyone for jumping on, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, Dad.
Bye.